understanding who we are and our values and our intentions and what we want from life, and the willingness to put that out there to the world, the willingness to act upon our intentions, to speak our values, to disagree with somebody, and to be vulnerable to the world and to the people we interact with. That is really how we start to develop self-worth, because every time we do that, we're telling our subconscious, I'm good enough. Well, who I am, the values I carry, what I believe is valid, is valuable, and I appreciate them and I love them. And that's what builds real self-worth, not just some arbitrary ideas of like, oh, I read some pickup stuff and they say this line and it's really confident. If you're still thinking like that all the time, like I need to be doing X lines, or I need to pretend to be aloof or pretend to be this pickup guy, we're actually being quite invulnerable. We're actually being, we're performing. Right? We're sitting there and we're saying like, I need to do something else. I need to put on a mask, or I need to be someone else, or act a certain way, or hide my values, hide my nerdiness to be good enough for somebody. And that will always lower your self-worth. I told this to a guy the other day. I'm a fucking nerd, man. Like I've been my whole life. I've been a gamer. I've been a techie person. I'm into futurology. I'm into lots and lots of quote unquote nerdy, uncool things that a lot of guys are like, don't show that to women or whatever. But that's not the problem. The problem is expressing that in a way that matters to you and that you believe in it and that you're comfortable with that. That deeper self-expression of where a woman's like, hey, this guy's got these hobbies or these interests that are maybe not exactly mine and maybe I'll never be in love with, but he's okay with that and he's comfortable with that. He doesn't, quote unquote, like you said, give a fuck if I respect that or not. Because if I don't, then I'm not the right person for him. And if I do, then we're going to have a connection. I date plenty of women that are never going to have the same hobbies or interests as me. And I don't need them to. I just need them to respect it or appreciate it or being open to it at times to discuss. So I think real self-worth and real self-confidence isn't like, when what's attractive to a woman isn't boxing yourself into this dude and like being this really cool pickup guy. It is being unequivocally accepting of who you are and unashamedly willing to express that to the world. And I also think that's the core of the subtle art of not giving a fuck, is not actually being aloof and pretending to be like, oh, I'm too cool for this girl. That's just another form of performing. But it's actually like, I know who I am. I don't have to put on a mask. I don't have to bullshit. It's not just be yourself. It's really understand yourself, understand what you want from everything, what your opinions are, what your values are that you stand by, the type of people you want, women you want in your life, and act upon that. The more you know yourself and you dig in, and the more you have values and self-respect, that's where you're going to build self-esteem. And it also means, I talk about this a lot, like being willing to walk away from somebody who doesn't meet that. There's so many guys, we had our last Q&A call for our private kind of alumni community last week. And that was like a big part of online dating. A lot of guys right now are like, oh, I swiped on this girl that's really hot, but she doesn't have much in her profile and she doesn't answer me much and she's really flaky. Like, what do I do to convince her? What do I do to get it back? And I'm like, why do you give a shit at this person if they're being so hard and they're not interesting and they're not opening up and they're not respecting your time or they're flaking? Why do you care so much just because they're hot? Like, great, there's a million hot fucking women everywhere, man. I know it's the pandemic and you can't walk out, but like there has to be more. That's what makes you desperate as a person is, oh my God, this girl's beautiful. I got to do whatever I can to win her over. No, you got to get into the mindset of like, cool, she's beautiful, but why should I invest my time here? What kind of topics or questions or hard discussions or flirting should I bring to the table that matters to me, and see if she values that? If she doesn't, if she's not interested, if she's flaky, if she's like uninterested, I think there's so much more power in self-worth in saying, cool, I'm not going to invest my time here and I'm going to go focus on another woman who is, as opposed to chasing women that for endless amounts of time without thinking about your own needs. And I know I'm a little over time in ranting, but I want to give you a quick idea about this. A lot of guys think the answer to getting really confident with women is just repetition only. And I've had guys, one person in mind especially I'm thinking of, who came to me and said, I've approached 800 women. Okay, 800 women in my real life. And you know what he told me? I'm still scared shitless. Okay, why? Why after approaching 800 women are you still scared? because you're performing all the time. You're always thinking about what to say next. You're always trying to impress. You're always trying to micromanage your thoughts and your discussions. And you're always trying to figure out how you can fit into her and not lose this random girl, instead of showing up to that approach and being like, let me just be in the moment. Let me work on being present. Let me work on connecting to the thoughts that are actually here and speaking more personally, sharing a more real story, being seen. You do that a few times and you stand in front of a beautiful girl and you take your time to answer. And you even admit you're nervous about something. You admit weakness. You talk from the heart. You share a story. Your self-worth is going to be so much stronger, where you're like, your brain's getting the point of like, yeah, there's a beautiful woman in front of me, but I don't give a fuck. I'm just trying to be real right now. That's going to make you feel so much more secure in front of a beautiful woman than 1,000 approaches, just like repeating a line and thinking about the next thing. And, oh, she's talking about nursing, so I got to like come up with a funny, playful tease about nursing. Instead of just like slowing down and being like, I got to be honest, like, I thought about being a nurse, and the amount of shit that you guys go through and the pain and like hell, the blood even, is just something I can't deal with. And being real, that your subconscious is going to go, cool, you're really not fazed by a beautiful woman. You feel like an equal. You're treating yourself like an equal, and that's how you grow. Guys, listen, pickup don't mean shit, man. It's been around for 20 years. You know how many guys have been amazing with women for thousands of years, like that don't read dating advice or pickup advice? You know how many guys I know that are stellar with women who don't read any of this stuff? Tons. Because they are self-confident, self-loving, expressive, vulnerable, assertive, and people who live with integrity. And you don't need to only read pickup to understand that. You need to learn how to be a self-confident man. And in fact, I think sometimes reading too much pickup and dating advice fucks us up, man. It fucked me up my first 3.5, 4 years. Like, I didn't know how to be a real person. I was always thinking about pickup, and I was always in my head, and it worked, and it gets you laid, and it's great. But does it actually build self-worth, and does it build healthy relationships long-term? No.